Welcome back. We're talking about a hard topic that sometimes families have to go through, and that's divorce. And so one of the things we were saying was some families, they try the counseling, they do stick together while their kids are young, but then they almost call you after that college drop-off, it seems like you said.
Yeah, it does. A lot of times families will stay together for their children, and then when the last child or the only child in certain circumstances goes to college, that's the one thing that was keeping them together. And so we see and experience a lot of times marriages that are 20, 25 years that people are calling in for divorce because now, well, we've been together for the children and that is now passed, so we can move on and try and do something different. The other thing that happens a lot of times, though, is when those people go through a divorce when their children are teenagers. One of my favorite questions I get is, how old or when is the magic age is usually the number I get, when my child can tell me where they want to live or when they want to go with the other parent. And my answer is always the same, 18, because that's when they're adults. Mm-hmm. A teenager has a preference. A teenager can make a preference, but it's not going to be the be-all, end-all for those kids. So while the court will look at maturity level, understanding, and preference and give it some weight, when it comes down to it, if you have a child who is 15, well, I don't know about you guys, but when I was 15, if my parents let me do what I wanted to do, I probably wouldn't be an attorney. So at this point, you think of it in those terms. 15-year-olds don't always make the right decisions, but they're what they think is important, but we can't leave it in their hands. And courts know that. And so as a result, if you have a child that is a 15 or a 16-year-old child and you're in this situation, just remember, you have a duty to them and to the other parent to make sure that they spend time with the other parent. It's very important. And the last thing you want to do is make it so it's difficult for that to happen without good cause. There are always going to be cases that are out there that are like that. But for the most part, most people get along. Most people should have those relationships with their children.
Now, if they are getting a divorce and the kids are younger, do you ever suggest to your clients, like, hey, after 2 years, check back with each other and work on that parenting schedule, or, you know, reevaluate things? That's
a great question. And yes, we try as best we can not to have to see our clients again, believe it or not. Mm-hmm. We like to get them something that they can use as a graduated schedule. But things change. And so when you have a child who is, say, for example, 2 years old when you get a divorce, you may have a situation where you have overnights for that child for just one night per week. So 4 overnights because the child is so young. Well, that doesn't work so well when a child is 4 or 6. And so sometimes what we'll do is we'll build in a graduated schedule that says when a child starts school, they'll have X amount of overnights, X amount of time. Otherwise, what we can do and what the court allows you to do is to build in a situation where you can put everything into the mediation program and come back. You can come back and have the court enter a new order. You can go to a parenting coordinator. North Dakota has a lot of different options for parents, and they're all very good. And the nice thing is, the mediation program, it's 6 free hours.
Wow.
Good stuff, man. How do people get a hold of you?
They can get a hold of me at my office, Parvy Larson McLean. It's 701-532-0702, or at www.plmfamilylaw.com.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, stay with us. When we come back, we're talking about facial masks and some all-natural spa ideas right after this.